And now for something completely different. Welcome one and all. Today I am subjecting myself to the absolute insanity that is Mobile Suit Gundam Giran's Greed. Specifically, this is a video about a thread in which someone essentially turned Tem Ray into Chief Scientist Supreme of all the Earth Federation, and things eventually just went off the rails. How off the rails? Well, off the rails enough that we ended up with several pixies, and somehow Jared Mesa becomes the savior of us all. How fucked up. Things have got to be pretty fucked up for Jared, of all people, to be the supposed savior. How does he save it? Fuck if I know, I didn't get that far. I watched this and knew I had to react to it on my own, so here we fucking go. Tem Ray, Father of the Year by Gaia Gaius. Go subscribe to him right now. In fact, I'm going to subscribe myself. Here. So... this video may be inappropriate for some users. I understand and wish to proceed.
Hey guys, Gaia Gaius here. Giran's Greed, a series of quite popular Gundam turn-based strategy games. Essentially the Gundam equivalent of something like Axis and Allies.
Unironically, this might actually make me want to emulate one of the Giran's Greed games, because this is batshit insane.
In these games, you get to take control of various iconic characters and leaders from throughout the UC timeline as you manage your armies and conquer the Earth Sphere for your respective faction. Now, the one thing that makes Giran's Greed so memorable is the fact that the decisions you make as your chosen leader will have great impact on the flow of events within the UC timeline, essentially changing the fates of every character in the Gundam universe with a single choice. Want to see a universe where Zeon won the war instead of the Federation?
Go watch Gundam GQs. It doesn't turn out how you think.
Easy. Do you want the Titans to form earlier than in the main timeline and fight Zeon in the one-year war themselves? Giran's Greed will let you do that.
Expect another colony drop, except the Titans are the one to do that.
Do you want a timeline where Amuro's dad conquers the Earth Sphere with nothing but mad scientist power moves? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Giran's Greed is a weird one. So weird that there exists an entire series of anonymous forum posts on /mecha threads where users played the entire game and played all of its bizarre story routes entirely by community vote.
Oh no.
In some of the most unhinged choose-your-own-adventure style playthroughs in the history of Gundam games. And today, we're gonna read the results of one of them. As part of this madness, and because I'm pinning this all on them, because they were the ones who dragged me into this, I've teamed up with some buds from my Discord server to help me with the hilarious shitposts that are these Giran's Greed community playthroughs. As per the request, and because I'm entering this madness blind, I shall be the narrator, and the others will deal with the consequences of dragging me down into this pit of shame and despair. So sit back and enjoy as we watch Tem Ray, Amuro's dad, the crazed inventor of the original Gundam, conquer the Earth Sphere for the sake of scientific progress. This is gonna be horrendous.
AKA 0079 on
Alright,
Skooma.
so I'm gonna start this off, okay?
Okay.
Alright, ready. Universal Century 0079, May 1st. 4 months have passed since the Principality of Zeon chose to declare a war of independence against the Earth Federation government. In this time, nearly 2/3 of the Earth have been overtaken by the Principality's vicious blitzkrieg on the planet, nearly destroying the Earth Federation. Desperate and out of options, General Revel has approved Research and Development Chief Tem Ray's V project to begin. With this being the last hope of the Federation, Tem Ray has been tasked with creating mobile suit designs that will allow the Federation to turn the tide of the war.
So, the funniest thing I find about that is that most sources, canon and otherwise, will tell you, yeah, no, at that point it was dead heat and the Federation was not super desperate. If anything, Zeon were the ones who were starting to run out of options. But I like the idea that things were looking so dire and so scary that freaking the Federation were like, oh shit, shit, shit. What do we do? What do we do? Quick, throw as much resources and money as we can at this one insane autistic man and his pet robot project. Surely that will help. Surely that'll turn the tide of the war.
So this campaign is about making what mobile suits we can come up with to fight back against Xeon.
With the initial frame of RX series completed, the core fighter cockpit frame has begun production. While Revel appears to be pleased with the results, Admiral Tianum and Admiral Gop both appear to have reservations in regards to the project. Tianum has requested part of the V project fund be transferred to his Vinson battleship revision project, while Gop has requested that the funding be switched from mobile suit development to conventional weapons again. What will Tem Ray assign funding to?
Revision was for what exactly? Remodel old ships to carry MS?
Neither! Old geezers who can't into space can go fuck themselves!
Fuck it. Go all on in MS. That's what this campaign's for.
Choosing to directly use the V project fund
Also,
to develop the
are you guys ready for 4chan, for terrible 4chan spelling? I know my English teaching my English teacher raised ass is.
75 gun tank. It appears that all Federation staff feel disappointed by the result. General Gop notes that the weapon is simply a larger Type 61 at a far higher cost with the alloy used for its armor. As a result, Gop and much of the Federation Council refuse to use any additional funding to the project. Gop has begun to petition for a more practical and cost-efficient version of the gun tank to be produced, along with more funding to his Type 61 project. General Revel, while in total support of the mobile suit development plan, feels this initial design placed a bad taste in the Federation's collective mouths, and is requesting the next concept to be closer to the Zaku's frame, namely a bipedal design. What will Tem Ray develop next?
Gun cannon all the way! We're drowning Xeon in Gundams.
Let's make the best melee MS of the 1-year war, the gun cannon.
Gun cannon all the way.
Completing the RX-77 gun cannon, the Federation Council seems impressed with the design, feeling it will make an acceptable means to fight Xeon Zaku's. Providing an additional 10,000 credits worth of income for the project, it appears that Gop and the Federation Council have chosen to conclude the project. Tem Ray, however, informs the Council that the gun cannon is simply an extension of the true purpose of the V project, the RX-78 Gundam. While unamused, Gop approves funding for the Gundam, though he demands the project meet a deadline to ensure the Federation's quicker counteroffensive. RX-78-1 Gundam has begun development.
Alright, we're approaching the canon story now. Of course it's inevitable.
Successfully completing the RX-78-1 and displaying its abilities to the Federation Council, it appears that the Federation's attitude to mobile suit development has completely shifted since the original proposal. For the completion of the Gundam, 30,000 credits have been deposited for future V project development. With testing going well at Side 7, Tem Ray is instructed to supervise the unit's transfer to Jaburo alongside Captain Paolo. However, reports have noted that a Xeon Musai class in pursuit of the Pegasus class en route to Side 7.
We should just keep producing the gun cannons and its MSVs and win the entire war with an army of gun cannons.
That didn't seem to go so well in friggin' GQs. But supposedly we didn't get all the MSV variations. Although I'm pretty sure those would have required the original Gundam. So, yeah.
Arriving at Side 7 to retrieve the V project units.
Actually, that's a good question. What would happen if we got a new Girin's Greed game? How would that go? Would they, like, take into account stuff like GQs? All that crazy shit like frickin' Volplurgus and Advance of Zeta? Actually, come to think of it, just talking about those two alone, I think having another Girin's Greed game might be getting close to impossible, if it's not impossible already.
It appears that a Xeon Zaku unit has begun assaulting the testing site, aiming to destroy as many of the prototypes as it can. With his legacy in danger, Tem Ray is forced into a difficult decision. Help load the V project assets onto the White Base, or protect the RX-78-1.
Hey, how can the Tem Ray scenario continue past this point? Oh, can it?
Protect the Gundam!
Protect the Gundam.
I'm guessing White
The
Base is
Gendam.
In the show, Amuro got into the Gundam and fought off his Zaku, while Tem Ray was still loading things. But the Zaku explosion blew a hole in the colony, and Tem Ray was sucked out.
Refusing to allow his prized mobile suit to be destroyed in the attack, Tem Ray orders all remaining staff to retreat to the White Base, while he retrieves the RX-78-1 and RX-78-2 Gundams. As Tem Ray enters into the transport truck with the RX-78-1 attached, he sees one of the Zaku-2s taking potshots from the artificial hilltop, destroying both the RX-77 and RX-75 gun tank samples. Realizing that escape is an impossibility, Tem Ray abandons the trucks and enters into the cockpit of the Proto-Gundam. As his suit stands, the Zaku from the hilltop begins to panic as it motions to the Zaku-2 deeper into the testing location. Enraged at seeing his prized V-Project units destroyed, Tem Ray begins to pursue the Zaku-2, forcing it from the colony. Choosing to chase the Zaku-2 pilot into space, Tem Ray fires a clean shot into the cockpit of the Zaku-2, completely destroying the unit. As Tem Ray begins to turn to deal with the other Zaku-2s attacking, an explosion blasts a hole through Side 7. Searching for IFF signals, Tem detects the RX-78-2, also in action.
So, this is kind of established that Tem appears to also be a cracked pilot for, like, no reason. Just took out who I'm assuming is Dren with, like, little to no difficulty whatsoever. Just completely bodying him with giving him barely any time to react. Actually, wait, no. He did have time to react, and he chose to run. Dren chose to frickin' run. Or was it Jean? Jean? Dren? I don't remember which one of frickin' Char's goobers was piloting with that. I think it was Jean, though. Either way, he got cooked by Tem Ray, of all people.
Father and son team soon?
Oh, Amuro still gets in, but is the gun tank and gun cannon unavailable now?
Oh, fuck. I didn't think we'd get both. Well, the show, they had a ton of parts for the gun cannon and gun tanks. It's why we don't see them in action until a while later, since it didn't seem White Base had them assembled. So maybe he gets them in a turn or two later?
What happens if you get back GOPS Type 61s? Does it produce some sort of ultra but still shitty conventional tank?
Returning to Side 7, Tem Ray discovers that not only was the RX-72 saved from destruction, but the pilot of it was none other than his own son, Amuro Ray. While Amuro nervous to approach his father after the incident, Tem Ray cannot contain his own excitement at not only seeing his prized masterpiece's powers, but the fact that even a total amateur like Amuro was able to utilize its power, while a bit clumsily. Despite the destruction of the RX-75 and RX-77s are viewed as unfortunate to Tem, he continues to focus on the safety of the two surviving Gundam types, granting a temporary promotion to Bright Noah to serve as captain of the White Base in place of the deceased Captain Paolo. Tem orders the White Base to make way for Jaburo. As Amuro prepares to depart from the Gundam to return it to his father, Tem informs his son that he will be the unit's temporary pilot until they arrive at Jaburo, given how nobody else would be able to handle its power like Amuro was. While Amuro appears to disapprove the idea, Tem Ray ignores his son's complaints, telling him it's his first chance to contribute to society in a productive manner. Tem Ray is now the pilot of the prototype Gundam, and Amuro is now the pilot of the Gundam.
Ah, yes. It looks like doing this decision makes our situation better than in the TV series. Although knowing these worlds, something bad could happen, so prepare for unexpected death.
Also, goddamn, Tem. What? So, you're telling me that the only way that Amuro, in your mind, Amuro could contribute to society is by getting into a giant robot and murdering people? Like, granted, it's space Nazis, but... just... what a sterling example of a father figure.
Tem Ray ignores his son's complaints, telling him it's his first chance to contribute to society in a productive manner. This is exactly the rationale I give my kids before turning him into a child soldier.
Exactly.
How did Tem Ray ever get a woman to have sex with him? Is a suck A fucking asshole. He can't even congratulate his own son, Amuro, for at least saving his pet project, much less staying alive while the colony went to shit.
Amuro's gonna get gendoed.
That's
Oh god. That's really funny considering like something that happens a little later in the video. Also, yes, applesauce.
exactly the man I imagined Tem to be.
Get in the Gundam, Amuro!
It's Tem Ray. We don't have a choice. The man doesn't have a single sympathetic bone in his body.
You are the soldier of sorrow now, Amuro.
Besides, we have
That was
twice
just-
the amount of Gundams on White Base now.
Arriving in the orbital drop location above Jaburo, it appears that Char's Musai force has already taken a position to stop the vessel's descent, as Tem Ray requests a count of how many units were deployed under Char's command. Bright informs him that 4 Zaku 2s, including Char's custom unit, have deployed to try and stop the vessel from landing. Tem appears almost disappointed, hoping for a larger force to display his Gundam's power. Regardless, Tem Ray suits up for battle, calling out for Amuro to stop moping around and get into the Gundam. While it appears Amuro refuses to enter into the battle, Bright requests a moment to handle the situation with Amuro's own behavior. Not wanting to waste time waiting for Amuro to show some initiative, Tem claims he will have the fleet eliminated long before the White Base is ready to land. Allow Bright. Will you allow Captain Bright to discipline Amuro?
Bright slap time.
So Amuro is the type who won't step unless he absolutely has to. Meanwhile, Tem is the type who absolutely won't take responsibility for disciplining his own son, even if he has to.
Allow Bright to discipline Amuro? Implying Tem Ray wouldn't do it himself, with more force as he has the right being Amuro's actual father? Where's the option for Ray to hit Amuro with a cannon until he stops being so insolent?
The zombies will be
Jesus.
taken down by a family who's even more dysfunctional as a unit than they are.
Not if Amuro defects to Xeon because Daddy never appreciated his effort.
Not even Tem hit Amuro. My own hit never even fathered me.
Shut up!
Bitch, don't you try to do my job.
Oh, my throat.
And then there's the picture of Tem that says, "If only you listened."
Awful.
Play the rape. You pan.
Tem authorizes Bright to do what he wishes with Amuro, though he notes the boy will most likely not comply, even given the circumstances. Bright begs to differ, requesting Tem not to stray far from the White Base until Amuro has arrived. Launching from the White Base, Tem makes landing atop the vessel, flashing his IFF to the Xeon fleet blocking the vessel's advance, welcoming any of the units attacking. Char and his allies appear confused to the display, ultimately choosing to wait for the Prototype Gundam's first move. As Tem prepares to engage the Zakus, he notices the RX-78-2 launching into battle. Impressed that Bright managed to get his hard-headed son to actually deploy, Tem orders Amuro to join alongside him in destroying the Xeon forces before the White Base reaches the drop point. Working in almost perfect unity, Char's team is almost completely overwhelmed by Tem's knowledge of the Gundam and Amuro's natural talent in the unit. As Char begins to evacuate with Dren, it appears the battle is at an end. Just as Amuro and Tem begin to return to the White Base, one of the surviving Zakus attempts to grapple onto Tem's prototype Gundam in an attempt to wrestle it into Earth's atmosphere. As Amuro prepares to try and take a shot to force the Zaku from the Gundam prototype, Tem screams out to Amuro to return, to Amuro to instead get to the White Base to record what he plans to do next with the enemy's machines. Compliant with his father's command, Amuro returns to the White Base without his father. As Tem turns his attention back to the Zaku, attempting to grapple him, he uses the Gundam's strength to rip the arms from the Zaku, grabbing onto disarmed Zaku's stumps. In doing so, the Zaku pilot, Crown, begins to yell at their units as they are beginning to burn up in the atmosphere if they continue to fall any further. Tem informs the pilot that he is curious how well a Zaku 2's armor composition will manage compared to his Gundam as they fall into Earth's atmosphere.
Jesus.
Fucking God.
What a badass doing that. Also, father and son teamwork.
What does Char think about this? Seeing 2 mobile suits destroy his task force?
For science.
Plunger
Alright, we are going to pause the stream and we'll be back probably in a couple of hours. Hopefully after this, I can be joined in my commentary of this. Yeah, we're only how many minutes into this? And we already have frickin' Tem Ray basically executing that poor pilot Crown by way of atmospheric incineration. This guy is a madman. And from, like, how much longer? Oh, no. Yes, yes, you did see that. That is, in fact, Sonichu in the preview right there. And by how much... And from what I've seen in the 30 minutes I got through, it gets so much worse. So much worse. So, yeah, we'll be back in a couple of hours. I will